So while we were talking about the role of metabolism in cancer, we talked about the role of lipid metabolism in cancer, role of the carbohydrate metabolism in cancer, specifically the glycolytic pathways role, and also the role of the glutamine metabolism in cancer. We also a little bit talked about how we can use these metabolic pathways or cancer metabolic pathways for treatment. Let's finally have a summary of what we have learned about these treatments or what sort of treatments we can use. First of all, the Warburg effect, that is the implication of glycolysis or excessive glycolysis in the cancer. You know that cancer cells depend more and more on the glycolysis as compared to Krebs cycle. So one of the way to treat this, then we affect the glycolytic pathway. We inhibit it. One way of inhibition is, of course, you inhibit the enzymes, especially the important enzymes which are indispensable for the glycolytic pathway. आप उनको ख़त्म कर दें, एंजाइम को नकारा कर दें, उनको इनहिबिट कर दें, glycolytic pathway भी नहीं रहेगा. Glycolytic pathway नहीं रहेगा तो cancer cells will die. So one is hexokinase inhibitor, again very important enzyme. Then lactate dehydrogenase inhibitor. We have seen that how lactate dehydrogenase, which leads to the production of lactate, is implicated in cancer. And as a result, as I have mentioned, there will be the cancer cell will starve. Then we have seen that glutamine is a very important metabolite which is targeted by the cancer cells, which is utilized by the cancer cells because it acts as a hub because of its ability to be converted into glutamate. And that glutamate acts as a hub for the production of many molecules through Krebs cycle. So in that sense, if we target the glutamine, we will be able to very effectively treat cancer. For instance, you can block the intake of the glutamine. You can block the enzymes which are involved in the conversion of glutamine into the glutamate and so on. So in this way, ultimately, because of this inhibition of this glutamine metabolic pathway, what will happen that you can hinder the cell growth and you can inhibit the cell proliferation. Then, of course, finally, there are lipids also. As we saw in the glycolytic pathway or in the glutamine pathway, also the lipid metabolism is implicated in cancer because of what? Because they produce so much energy. That's one thing. Because they can be utilized as the building block of the major cellular components, especially the cell membranes. That's why lipids are also implicated in the cancer metabolism. And also, finally, they are very important signaling molecules. So if somehow you inhibit the synthesis of fatty acids, or you inhibit the oxidation of fatty acids so that energy cannot be produced from them, you can treat the cancer. And then there is also one way that you combine the chemotherapy with any other strategy so that you have a combined strategy to treat cancer. It is something which is used nowadays very, very commonly, that along with chemotherapy, you do other therapies also. And these combined therapies not only have better effects, but also they have lesser side effects also. For example, buformin is used to inhibit the electron transport chain, that's the mitochondrial complex 1. And its combination with the vitamin C has been shown to be very successful in treating the acute myeloid leukemia, AML. It's a very lethal disease, but somehow if you combine this buformin with the vitamin C, you can treat this disease in a better way. So this is just one example. there are many examples in which the cancer is being treated through the combined therapeutic strategies. Also, in addition to the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or the immunotherapy, you can also change your lifestyle. You can change your dietary habits. Why you, rather than eating more and more glucogenic food, the food which produce more and more glucose, which is implicated, which can be very easily be used by the cancer cells because of the reason you know, then you produce the ketogenic food. The ketogenic food will at least tend to reduce the cancer cells' dependency or their ability to make use of the glycolytic pathway. In that way, the ketogenic food can somehow, by eating ketogenic food, you can manage cancer. And then sometimes something of your daily days lifestyle. I mean, if you reduce your sedentary lifestyle, you do exercises, you walk a lot, and we know that, for instance, overeating or obesity also is now considered one of the factors which promote certain cancers, especially the gastric cancers. So in this way, changing a little bit of your habits of your eating and your working, they also can help in treating cancer.